Final Cry Ministries presents What Law Ended at the Cross. I'm Gary C. Michael. The work of his hands are verity and judgment. All his commandments are sure. They stand fast forever and ever, and are done in truth and uprightness. He sent redemption unto his people. He hath commanded his covenant forever. Holy and reverend is his name. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever. This is the 111th division of the Psalm, verses 7 through 10. I've been moved to write concerning Colossians 2:14 through 17. I feel that many people they are being misled by a faulty conception of this text. When Jesus died, his blood served as the supreme sacrifice to God for the sins of the world. The death of Jesus brought an end to the tedious sacrificial system. Let's see how the Bible interprets itself. Colossians 2:14 through 17. Blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to his cross, and having spoiled principalities and powers, and these are fallen angels, friends, he made a show of them openly, triumphing over them in it. Let no man therefore judge you in meat, or in drink, or in respect of an holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days, which are a shadow of things to come. But the body is of Christ. The first thing we notice here is the fact that whatever it was that was blotted out, it was handwritten, and they were called ordinances, right? Also, the blotted out law contained meats, drinks, holy days, new moons, and Sabbath days. Now, let's reason this out. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. I want you to just take your Bible. Hopefully you've got a King James Version Bible, and go to Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. You can pause this video if you need to do that. We're now looking at the 10 Commandments. Now, either all 10 of these commandments are still binding, or none of them are. I mean, this is a package deal, don't you see? We can't accept 9 and reject 1. There is no 10% discount on God's law. Now, as you read verse 3 rather, ask yourself if it's still binding or not. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. How about verses 4 and 5? They tell us not to worship idols, don't they? Verse 7 says, don't call the Lord's name in vain. That's reasonable, isn't it? Right? Verse 8 tells us to remember the 7th day to keep it holy. It didn't say the first day. It said the 7th day to keep it holy. Remember that the blotted out law contains Sabbath days, which means more than one. Right? Now, could this mean that this commandment no longer applies to as God wrote it on stone with his own finger? Continue on down to verse 17. And you will find that there are no references at all in the whole 10 Commandments. There are no references to meats, drinks, new moons, or Sabbath days. So let's look for the law. Let's look for a law that contain all of these, and we will find the set of rules that was blotted out. Are you with me? Let's continue. We can see from Exodus 25:21 that the 10 Commandments were placed in the Ark of the Covenant, in the center of the ark. Actually, is where it was placed. According to Deuteronomy 31:26, there was a book of the law placed in the side of the ark. The Ark of the Covenant was a box or chest, which the Levites carried the law in. God told them how to construct this box, and that's what they used to carry the law. Now let's dig a little deeper here. Let's go deeper and find out what was in this book of the law. Did this book contain meats, drinks, new moons, or Sabbath days? Going back to Colossians 2:14 through 17, we see that the thing that was blotted out was called what? The handwriting of ordinances, right? Consider the book of Leviticus. This book contains laws governing the sacrifices by fire. This book also contains other rules, but we're focusing on the sacrificial system right now. Look at Leviticus 2:1. This text is explaining how to make a meat, which was really grain, offering, right? So we see that meat or grain was used in the sacrificial system, right? Let's look for drinks next. Turn to Leviticus 23:13. Well now, this text is telling us about meat and drink offerings. Let's continue. 1 Chronicles 23:31 says this, and to offer all burnt sacrifices unto the Lord in the Sabbaths, in the new moons, and on the set feasts by number, according to the order commanded unto them continually before the Lord. Now we know that meats and drinks and also new moons were connected to the sacrificial system. How about Sabbaths? We'll turn to Leviticus 23:3. Here, God is restating the fourth commandment Sabbath. But notice the 24th verse. The seventh month, first day of the month is a what? Sabbath? Here's what the text says. In Leviticus 23:3 it says, 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their season. So now he's saying, from this point I'm going to give you the whole set that I want you to do in their season. After he's established the fourth commandment Sabbath, he told them that. He said, now I'm going to give you the rest of the feast. Now verse 24 says, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the seventh month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets and holy convocation. Now that ought to be pretty clear between the Sabbath and a Sabbath, right?